It's November, guys, so the hoodie's back. Those of you that have been around long enough know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so 1st of November and Bitcoin dipped under $70,000. That's much expected. That's not actually that bad a dip, but people who are used to 73,000, 69,000 sounds like a crash. It really isn't. It's just a little bit of a correction, and also a little bit of liquidation of the extreme longs that are on the system. There's still quite a fair bit of longs on the system, so I expect it to go down a little bit further. Personally, I won't be surprised if I woke up tomorrow to prices in the 65, 66 region, which would to some people look a little bit dramatic, but I think is perfectly normal and within normal correction bands. I personally expect us to still have a bit of a washout to take us into the 50s. I know, again, that sounds a bit extreme, but it really isn't. And again, that will still be within normal ranges, even though, of course, we know that we are going to eventually spiral out and hit a parabolic run into outer space when it comes to Bitcoin. And when that does that, altcoins shall follow suit, including our beloved XRP. There are many macro events that are happening. There was that catastrophic storm in Valencia and parts of southern Spain. My condolences to those people who lost people and possessions. I was actually in Valencia earlier this year and I had a wonderful time. I stayed in a place called Benicassim and also Valencia, and those are very, very beautiful parts of the world. But unfortunately, they had this massive flood that created a lot of damage. What caused the flood? I have no idea. I spoke to friends of mine, and some of them said that it might have been due to the cloud seeding. Apparently, that was happening in some parts of North Africa, and that kind of threw the weather out. I'm not sure that's true, but you know, anything can happen. You guys remember what happened in Dubai and in Saudi Arabia earlier this year because of cloud seeding and stuff. And when disasters like this happen, it usually creates a bit of a downturn in the financial markets, especially if it hits places that are affecting things like food and infrastructure and ports and stuff. A lot of the goods that get transported from the Middle East and from China and from India and places like that are actually brought into Europe from ports in Spain, in Italy, and in France. So when those places get affected by bad weather or catastrophes and things like that, it tends to have an effect on trading and what people do in the stock markets, right? And of course, Spain is a massive source of agriculture and food for parts of Europe like Germany and England. We get our oranges, lemons and stuff from Spain. So if that gets affected by bad weather and the country suffers some financial issues, that also has a knock-on effect on what the traders do, especially if they trade in agricultural commodities, etc. Looking ahead in September, let's hope none of that happens anymore. Again, my condolences to those of you who lost family and friends and property and stuff like that in that really big event. In more macro events, we have BRICS, which is basically drumming the beat of destroying the US dollar completely. Obviously, BRICS and BRICS countries seek to be independent from the United States financially. But then, of course, we have personal vendettas vis-a-vis the United States and Vladimir Putin and Russia. We have issues with South Africa and their stance with what's happening in the Middle East and in Russia. There's so many angles to this, and different countries have different desires in what they want to achieve with BRICS. Of course, you have India and China now starting to talk to each other. India and China have been estranged for a while, and now we have these two powerhouses because of BRICS starting to communicate again. Now, if proper trade resumes between China and India and proper relations resume between those two countries, they're going to form a powerhouse against the US dollar. And, you know, when China starts to charge in Chinese currency, India starts to charge in Indian currency, and the BRICS currency or whatever it is becomes the fuel for that or the bridge for that. And we all know the possibilities of that concerning XRP and the XRP ledger and the kind of utility that that can provide for that kind of system. Then it is interesting to see that we have a lot coming in 2025 to look forward to. In terms of crypto trading, we're back to neutral from greed. It just goes to show how easy it is to manipulate retail because of our tendencies to be emotional. Those people who have no emotions who just go by charts and targets and just following the cycle, they're the ones that usually win in trading. trading. For the rest of us, the only weapon we've really got is to buy low and sell high, aka dollar cost average through the down times, then layer out when the price goes up. It's really quite simple, to be honest. But of course, nothing that I've said today is financial advice, your own personal research, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.